I'm Nathan Sanderson, Executive Director of the South Dakota Retailers Association. During the South Dakota legislative session, legislative staff, lobbyists, and elected officials use a variety of terms that are specific to South Dakota. All citizens can engage with the legislative process either by coming to peer in person, listening online at sdpb.org, or participating remotely by contacting the Legislative Research Council. If you do plan to participate, it'll be helpful to know a few unique terms. It's common to hear that a bill has been deferred to the 41st legislative day. This is actually one of the specific motions that a legislator can make, and it serves to kill a bill. You might hear someone say, "Mr. Chairman, I move to defer House Bill 1001 to the 41st legislative day." Now that's not ideal if you're the bill's sponsor, because the South Dakota legislative session can only have 40 legislative days. Moving a bill to the non-existent 41st legislative day means that you're unlikely to hear it again during that session. But not always. Sometimes, after a bill's been killed in committee by deferring it to the 41st legislative day, a legislator will try a maneuver called a smokeout. A smokeout is a legislative rule that requires a committee to deliver a bill to the floor for consideration by the entire body, even if it was killed in committee. So let's say that a legislator wants to try to smoke out House Bill 1001, which was killed in committee. A House member on the floor of the House of Representatives will say, "Mr. Speaker, I move to invoke Joint Rule 7-7 on House Bill 1001. The Speaker will then ask the other members of that chamber if the legislator is supported. If that legislator receives support from 1/3 of the elected members of the chamber, the committee is required to deliver House Bill 1001 to the House floor for deliberation on the next legislative day." Now, as the legislative process moves along, it's common for new ideas to emerge, or for ideas that were not quite ready by the bill introduction deadline, to be ready for consideration as an official bill. To accommodate these situations, some legislators, these are often members of leadership or the Appropriations Committee, will introduce vehicle bills. These bills are also sometimes called title bills because they don't contain any proposed legislation other than the title. A common version of a vehicle bill will be something like an act to enhance South Dakota. And then the entire contents of the bill will say, "The state of South Dakota is hereby enhanced." These vehicle bills are often used for something called a hog house amendment. Now, a hog house amendment is an amendment that strikes the entirety of a bill's contents and replaces it with something else. After a bill has been hog housed, the Legislative Research Council places a disclaimer at the top saying that the bill has been extensively amended and may no longer be consistent with the original intent of the sponsor. So, if during the legislative session you hear someone say that they hog-housed a vehicle bill, but it was deferred to the 41st legislative day in committee, so they tried to smoke it out, you'll know what they're talking about. For more information on the legislative process, visit our website at sdra.org.